Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, December 29th.
Yeah.
We're getting close. A couple more days left here at the end of December. Of course, we're starting our Facebook Live. You can watch us anytime on your feed, on our InForum YouTube channel, any podcast platform as well. Just go to inforum.com/podcast, and you can listen to this every weekday morning, anytime you want. We wanted to bring Lydia on right away because today our big story, I thought, was some pretty serious fog.
Yeah, visibility was less than a mile here in Fargo for almost the whole show. But a cold front is on the way to rescue us in terms of fog.
Okay, I was like, what?
Yeah. Not in terms of temperature. The temps will be going backwards slightly today. It's not one of those like big crash and burn kind of cold fronts though, and it's not coming with a bunch of precip. This one's pretty benign. But temperatures will slowly lose their oomph throughout the day, and we'll end up in the teens this afternoon and single digits by tomorrow morning. Fog is improving out there across North Dakota. It's still pretty soupy on the Minnesota side. Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, Wadena down under a mile still for visibility. But as this wind is picking up and the cold front moves through, that's going to push out the fog because fog loves calm air. It thrives in it. It can turn stubborn in it. So with wind picking up, that'll kind of help to push some of that fog out. It just takes time. It's happening from the west to the east. So Minnesota, it's on its way to you. And then the other thing, when you have some of this mist or drizzle or fog and temperatures are below freezing, you have to watch out for freezing fog, freezing drizzle, freezing mist. So all those teeny tiny water droplets in the fog or the mist or the drizzle can freeze onto colder surfaces like your windshield or your road, and that can make things a little bit slick. So do watch out for maybe some new slick spots this morning. My rule of thumb, if you're driving through fog in the winter, just take off cruise control. It's just best. It's easier to slow down or whatever you need to do in those situations. So
Good advice.
yeah, I think
right.
that's it.
Hopefully we get out of it.
Yes, it looks not too bad as we head into the holiday weekend. Tomorrow, near 20, maybe some peaks of sun. Not too much for wind, though. I don't have any precip into the holiday weekend. And then temps close to 20 at midnight on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So as we're ringing in the new year. And really statewide, tri-statewide, nothing big. So travel plans this weekend look good to go, which was,
Thank
of course,
goodness.
not the case for Christmas.
Christmas, right?
Yeah.
That was annoying. So this one looks a little bit better.
Good.
There is a potential snowstorm on the horizon for the early parts of next week. The models are all over the place with it, though. We've got one that kind of hits us, one that takes it way south. So the track can still change. You just got to check back for updates on that one.
All righty. We'll keep our eyes on
Okay,
everything.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
so much.
All right, let's talk about some of our local headlines this morning. We had breaking news during First News this morning out of Moorhead, where police there say they arrested a man who was in possession of a gun. The incident happened in the 2600 block of Country Club Parkway around 1:15 this morning. Officers say that an unwanted man, now known as 36-year-old Joby Johnson, was there and that he was arrested. He's now facing potential charges of obstruction of justice, possession of a short-barreled shotgun, and disorderly conduct. Now, we were told by officers this morning that the shotgun was not loaded with rounds, so the police said that there was never really any real threat of danger at any point. However, that man's still in custody this morning.
And we talked about this after the show, just the two of us. A man walking around unwanted, not holding a shotgun in town is, cause for alarm. So, I can see why that had a lot of people scared overnight. Another crime story that we're following for you and kind of has some bizarre elements to it and scary elements. We're working right now to learn the name of a driver who was arrested after witnesses say they witnessed that person firing a gun at passing cars while driving on I-94 in Fargo. The Highway Patrol tells us that this happened around 3 yesterday afternoon. They pulled over the suspect right around the Mapleton area on I-94. They called it a high-risk traffic stop. Makes sense. Officers say it only impacted traffic for a few minutes. They were able to make the arrest with no incident. We are still working to learn what charges that person could be facing, who was arrested, and I want to know more on as far as were cars hit, how many shots were fired. That's just all of the details that are coming in early on that story are scary.
Yeah, they are. All right, new this morning, a Minnesota man has pleaded guilty to third-degree murder for the drug overdose death of his fiancée. 31-year-old Anthony Drury was charged with third-degree murder and fourth-degree drug sale last December and originally pleaded not guilty in the situation. Drury changed his plea to guilty for that murder charge yesterday when he appeared in court. Drury's fiancée died of an overdose from fentanyl pills, which he bought from 24-year-old James Moorhead. Also pleaded guilty to third-degree murder and will spend 9 years in prison. Drury is set to be sentenced in February of next year. He could face up to 25 years in prison and a hefty fine.
A lot of us are still digging out from all of the snow around Christmas time. Yeah. Sounds like Jamestown especially having some issues. The city has actually declared an emergency as it's still recovering from the effects of the winter storms. That means they'll be getting federal and state assistance to help with cleanup. Right now there's no end date for the declaration. The city believes it will exceed its resources for snow removal. Still working out the, kind of crunching the numbers to see how much it's going to cost. Yeah. But a lot of snow, a lot of overtime happening to get Jamestown dug out, I guess.
Essentially digging out all that snow that's caused chaos across the whole state and the whole region, frankly. All right, right now a water main break is causing Fargo Cass Public Health to relocate just temporarily. Staff members say a water line froze within an exterior wall of the building that led to a spigot, and then when the line began to thaw out, it burst and released water into the facility. Now the building is still fully operational, but office spaces there were affected, and they had to move some of those people around. And then there's a server training course scheduled at the building today. That's going to have to be moved. All other services will continue as scheduled for right now.
Heads up for drivers. We want to tell you about this one. A street in downtown Fargo is going to be down to one lane for some repairs. We're talking about northbound 4th Street between 4th and 6th Avenue. Crews are finishing up some water main repair work. Should be back open by the end of the day next Tuesday. So a couple of days that's going to be closed. Drivers are encouraged to use Broadway until those repairs are complete.
Yep. All right. A new study shows West Fargo really is a city on the grow, which is their slogan. The Fargo Moorhead Metropolitan Council of Governments says that the city is ready to see a big boom in development. That's kind of exciting. The study predicts West Fargo may grow by 7% in the next 2 years. So to put it into perspective, right now the population sits around 39,000 people. That means by 2025, there could be more than 41,000 people living in the city. And then by 2035, just shy of 48,000. And then all the way to 2050, we're talking 63,000 people in West Fargo. So plenty of growth.
Yeah, wow. Looking at the big national story right now, it's the weather, just like we were talking about, digging out and the fog today. Tens of thousands of people are waking up without power today as a strong storm system hammered several western states, bringing damaging winds, excessive rain and snow, knocking out electricity. In fact, forecasters are saying that the system brought in hurricane-force winds, along with that heavy rain and snow, to several states on the West Coast. Of course, they're not always used to that. And of course, we're still following the nightmare that was traveling over the Christmas holiday as well.
It's ongoing.
So that is, we showed some video this morning on First News, not on here, but like seeing, you see long lines of people, leading into Christmas, but now seeing all the baggage and luggage
that's piled up and sitting around and waiting to find its owner or waiting to go to its destination and all that kind of stuff. It's just a mess, and that's all surrounding the Southwest Airlines debacle right now that we're told is probably going to go through the new year, unfortunately.
Lydia mentioned the obvious, but I didn't think about it. She's like, there's probably a lot of Christmas presents inside those suitcases that are just sitting there in airports. So
sad.
That's sad.
All right, another big story we're following on the national scale. A lot of people want to know about it, though. Pope Francis is asking for prayers for his very sick predecessor, that is 95-year-old former Pope Benedict XVI. He resigned nearly 10 years ago. Now all reports indicate that his health is worsening and quickly, so we're going to continue to monitor this situation. You can stick with us both on air and online for any and all updates on his health and the situation there.
You know what we didn't talk about very much this morning? We talked about it yesterday. Carson Wentz, back in the starting spot?
Yeah, he's regaining his starting position with the Commanders there in Washington. It was Wentz to start the season, then they kind of went to Taylor Heineke. Now they're back to Wentz as they're nearing a playoff push. I think right now the Commanders are in a playoff position. So if Wentz holds the reins, they should make the playoffs and give him another chance at a playoff and essentially another chance to kind of either cement his spot in Washington or, an addition for a new team next year. Who knows? But exciting for him, exciting for the team. We'll see what happens. Big games this weekend.
I want to talk about Carson Wentz again. So this is good news for him. I think Dom talked about that a little bit yesterday, but I just want to remind you, too, that Hot Mic with Dom Izzo is on from 9 to 11 this morning, every weekday morning, WDAY Extra and InForum.com. So, and of course, leading into the big Bison Jackrabbits game as well, which I think we could talk about every day
Oh, yeah.
leading into that,
Certainly
that big
could.
game, which is not so far away anymore.
That's for sure. Look at that. My mom's watching. She says, good morning. Hi, Mom.
Mom.
All right. We want to tell you about that deal we got going on as well. You can get a deal on your subscription to InForum.com, an all-access pass, 99 cents a month for your first 3 months. So take advantage of that while you can. We don't know how long that deal is going to be around.
And we want to remind you, our Storm Tracker team continuing to track that fog. Dylan should be on at 11 this morning, so we'll get an update on the conditions there. So join us at 11 for the very latest on the Pope as well, and the nationwide weather. And then 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and every weekday morning, wake up with first news from 5 to 7. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.